Hey everyone, how are you doing? Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I'm going to bring you a reading that I've already got the cards out already. But this is quite interesting because well, I would say there's a growing number of you who are no longer being sucked into any type of communication from somebody or some people without first using your discernment. And I'm hearing that this discernment of yours is getting heavier and heavier. It's getting more sort of problematic to crack, to get through. You have every right to build and keep your defenses around you a lot more. Some of you may have in the past, or quite a lot of you in the past, may have been duped into believing what some kind of influential person might have been saying. And obviously there are, quite a lot of, stories going around of, and it's, evidence that this is still happening. But what I see happening here, there's definitely a consciousness shift in the form of discernment. And it's like, I need clarity here before I can actually take in the information that you're telling me, or the contact, or the messages that you're trying to send through to me first, before I fully accept what you're saying. Now, if we look at the, remember, just take what resonates here, guys. This is a timeless reading. This is not personal. And in a sense, this isn't about trying to sway or persuade anybody to think differently. Just basically think for yourself. Use your own discretion. Use it. You have the right to question anything and everyone that's trying to connect with you, trying to contact you, whether it's in person, in the form of an email, on the phone, who you watch online. If you have ET contact, you're really stepping into your mental power. And this is very, very important as we're heading in, because especially the way how, like, anybody can just say anything, dress up really nice or ethereal looking, or have this sort of, authority type of energy around them that can easily be, filtered, masked with, using certain filters or whatever online, and, to really boost themselves up, to make themselves look believable. And it has sucked in a lot of people to sort of veer them off their path of discernment, of the trueness within themselves. And then they end up sort of like worshipping the person, going against other people who themselves might have actually questioned them in the beginning, in the past, and then they're no longer with them anymore. Comments, people may be saying certain comments that contradict what the content provider is saying, or other people are, commenting about who really agree and align with the energy of the content, or what the person or the guest is saying on the podcast, or, because what it is that you're one of those people that really and truly, like, are trying to ground yourself when it comes to the official truth coming out. And we always, known about this so-called disclosure. And, I feel that there's a growing number, especially with these so-called UFO files and everything, where it just feels like it's a psyop. And because of the way how you've been feeling, remember, you've got a lot of energies that's coming in through the sun. We've been having, getting so much energy blasts that's shown up on the Schumann resonance. So clarity is becoming a thing now. Questioning people's narratives are becoming a thing now. Really and truly sensing that something is wrong. You're not crazy. You're not paranoid. You do want to believe that there are others out there who are trying to help humanity with the like with their version of the truth, but with good intentions. They're not gatekeepers. They're not intel gurus. These people are humbled, trying to share their experiences in a very most, how can I say, the most transparent way that they possibly can, and paying the ultimate price for it in the long run through censorship, ridicule, mockery, financial blockages, energetic, mental, physical, psychic attacks, frequency attacks, direct energy weapon attacks, etc., etc. The list, gets longer. And it's starting to leave a really sour taste in your mouth, and it makes your gut kind of twinge. So the energy of this reading it feels so strong to me, and this is why I had to kind of as soon as I was just putting out the cards were, some of them were just falling out, and it was just aligning perfectly with the energy of what's going on here. And this is why I just needed to kind of get these cards out and get the camera rolling. So with the King of Cups, we've got somebody from a distance, from afar, who's trying to really reach out. And this can be whoever, it could be anybody. It could be somebody who you know in person, here, an ET contact. It doesn't really matter who it is, but this person has been trying emotionally, mentally, psychically, energetically to reach out. This person is quite spiritual. They, to be honest, it's irrespective as to whether they are in the upright position or not, to indicate whether they are being very truthful or being very deceitful. Because I feel that whoever I'm dealing with, you are becoming an even more solid truth seeker. As I said in the past, you might have been really suckered in and duped with all this woohoo new age shit, crap, and it's all a psyop now, and the way how you've sensed people's energies shift because the masks are falling off now. You're really starting to see these people for who they are, through their body language, the frequency, tone of their voice, the choice of their words. They have this kind of, way about them that really makes you wonder, well, what the hell's going on here? If they're trying to be sort of using a lot of sugar-coated words to describe what's going on upstairs. Oh, it's all love and lights upstairs, it's all the galactic family, and it's all, galactic brothers and sisters, and then you have some people that are really getting sucked into it, or they have this saying of oh, we're here to experience, a life experience, a human experience in the form of, entering into these meat suits, or Earth is a school and we're all here to learn from each other and grow and this and that other. And some of you, especially the energy that I'm picking up here, it's like you're feeling like, hang about, why is it that this sounds a bit like Stockholm Syndrome? Why does it feel like gaslighting? Why do I feel as if I'm being sucked into a narrative, and my inner core, my intuition is screaming that this is not right? It doesn't feel right. What the hell is going on here? And with the way how the Two of Swords energy, the person is really, standing their ground here, being very neutral, being very grounded, being very solid, because you just do not want any more disappointment, especially the way how the person has their arms sort of crossed over to protect their heart chakra, to protect their emotions, to really and truly, yes, they're in alignment with the heart and mind, but whatever truth that you're going to give me, I don't want to add the Two of Swords with the Ace of Swords, and then I'm getting the Three of Swords, because it took me a long time to untangle myself out of all of those lies. Okay? And if you add the Two of Swords, you've got the Two of Swords here that's in the midway, which now I'll explain in a sec. And then with the Ace of Swords, you're going to get the Five of Swords, which is about manipulation, deception, trying to control the narrative and the masses. So whoever you are, you have done a lot of mental clearing through heavy discernment. Nobody cannot easily and effortlessly dupe you into their way of thinking and their narrative. Whether or not they have good intentions or not, that's another thing. You are refusing to have your mind, your mentality messed with again. No more mind fuckery for you. And this is you standing in your sovereign power, using your free will. So the Ace of Swords again represents, truth, communication, but you want clarity. And even if it's coming from this person here, if you notice the colour schemes and stuff, and they're trying to come through interdimensionally through the ethers to try to connect with you in a telepathic way or intuitive way. You're like, listen, because of the way how I'm feeling, how things upstairs are not really as they really and truly say that they are, or people trying to make me feel and believe that, oh, it's all lovely up there. I'm going to stop you right there and say, hold your horses a minute. Let me just use discernment here, because I don't trust you, even though you might be a really lovely person. But right now, the way how my intuition is kicking off, I'm sensing possible bullshit here. So that's why I'm holding you back. Allow me my sacred space for me to interpret what it is that you're saying to me. I'm not going to accept anything all willy-nilly and then the next minute I'm back to square one, back in the Three of Swords or back into the Five of Swords, and then I've literally messed myself up again. Now with the Six of Wands that we've got in the reverse, that came out with the Ten of Wands in the upright position, okay, there's a feeling of there's a blockage here. Okay, this is a barrier that has been, this is beyond the Nine of Wands energy where there's wariness here, suspicion. And also, the Nine of Wands can also be about, going through a hell of a lot, but still staying strong, still, you're still here. You haven't given up yet. Now, with the Six of Wands, if you look at the card, it looks as if you've got certain people that's above a vessel. And it's looking down. I don't know if you can see. I hope you can see. There are a row, little section of houses here. And this is kind of representing some kind of ship, some kind of vessel. Could be cloaked, could be one of those scout ships. Even if they may have really good intentions, which that remains to be seen, right? It's in the reverse. Because you're not really, and it's proving to be very difficult to get through. It feels really burdensome. And the thing is, you might have a lot of things going on here. I'm not saying that you are so busy that you don't have time to sit down for 2 minutes and really sort of like spend a bit of time checking out things online with regards to, what they're saying out there. But you are not prepared to go down a rabbit hole, and then you're going down a rabbit hole, and then you're still going down this rabbit hole, and this rabbit hole seems to be a bit of an infinite loop. You're not really wanting to be led up the garden path anymore. And then with the Six of Discs, this is representing some kind of energy exchange that somebody wants to really communicate with you energetically, or figuratively. But the thing is, they can't, because something's going on here. And then and then when we have the Lover's card in the reverse, with the Chariot card in the reverse, for this person here, the King of Cups, you are literally, it's like you are using your psychic defense, your energetic psychic defense, to block this person. And if you have actually declared that you do not give consent for this person to approach you, they are actually having no choice but to honor your decision, because you have the right, the divine right, to tell them, don't contact me, stay away. And they have to honor that. It might upset them, I might be a bit pissed off, but that's too bad. If it's somebody that's in a, say, a vessel or ship or whatever, even if they may have good intentions, that's neither here nor there for you. That really don't mean, like, not being funny, don't mean shit to you. Because I'm not saying that you are being a very cold-hearted person, you're using your discernment. And with the Two of Pentacles in the upright position, it represents the Two of Swords, which is your energy. It doesn't really matter about your star sign, if you're Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini. This is somebody who is using their discernment. Yes, you want to be able to, seek out truth, but you also need to make sure that you're keeping yourself stable, because you're the one that's down here. You're the one that's down here going through so much shit already, trying to keep your emotions in check, trying to keep your finances balanced in check, trying to keep, your foot on the ground whilst everything around you is just chaotic. And the last thing you need is to have somebody that's trying to be all, we come here in peace and all this fucking, and then look at this, you've got the Five of Wands behind this. Whether they are somebody who's trying to bring peace to a situation, to try to calm down the inner conflict, or to try to calm down the chaos, you're not easily bought. You're not buying into it. And this is why it's like, okay, even if you may have, really good intentions, it could be even, let's just say, the Galactic Federation of Light or Worlds or whatever the hell they want to put their labels on, or what people want to label them as being, or whatever the fuck they are. You're not buying into it so easily. Now with the Six of Wands in the reverse, we've got the Sun card in the reverse, again with the Five of Swords. You're not buying into anyone's narrative. You're not buying into anyone's, oh, here's my proof. Here's my evidence. Here's the books I've written. Here's the images I've drawn of, my experiences or whatever. Or here's the files that we've dumped, and this is the website that you can go to. You feel like, listen, despite your efforts in trying to bring truth to humanity after all these thousands, millions of billions, trillions of years of oppression, what's changed? Or is it the fact that there's going to be further manipulation, further psyops? So it just means that you can hold on to your temporary power and still want to control the masses with controlled information. Like, just get the fuck out of here. And that same thing can be said for the people, beings, whatever they are upstairs, trying to control the narrative. Yeah, we're going to come and bring a disclosure. What, really? And again, especially if you're dealing with somebody who's got the handle and then they want to give you the blade, you're not going to be easily bought into that nonsense. Because again, there seems to be this feeling within you that, hold on, well, if there's a hierarchical system down here, then what I've been sensing over a period of time feels as if there's also a hierarchical system up there. There seems to be this kind of control mechanism of where they could be looking down upon humanity as if they're in a petri dish and trying to gauge out and see, well, whether or not humanity is going to be ready for the truth, right? Or ready for the disclosure, or ready to see the so-called friendly ETs, really? Okay. You're not somebody, especially with this so-called fake alien invasion, you're not buying into none of it. Yes, it may feel very, they may have regrets on maybe leaving things way too long for people who believe and carry the labels of being a starseed or a walk-in or a light worker or a grid worker, and who's been down here so long, going through so much oppression, so much shit, so many attacks, so many restrictions, and still expected to think happy thoughts, be positive, love and light, despite the punches that you're receiving. It's starting to feel a bit as if like, hold on a minute, this feels as if it's like that of being in an abusive relationship, where I feel as if I'm being groomed here. It feels as if like, narcissism energy. And if I like make it, my reality of where through their influence or a bit of V2K, fake telepathy bullshit, well, if they sort of say to me that, it's all great, it's all lovely, then I'm going to I'm going to accept that. You're not buying into that nonsense again. You're not going to be that victim again, because for the Six of Discs, you've blocked it. Until you feel within yourself, until you've made up your own mind, everybody else has to back the fuck off from you with their whatever information that they feel that they have. Because you're done. Your energy's spent. You're not allowing your mindset to be manipulated any further. You're not allowing your energy to be harvested anymore. You're not allowing yourself to feel as if you are sitting at your laptop or big computer or your tablet or phone in some kind of digital temple church format, feeling a bit like, wow, this feels like a cult. The person who's creating all these content and podcasts and bullshit, why does it feel like a cult? Why do I feel as if I'm being sucked into something again? You were just saying, you know what, fuck this, no. And for the cards underneath the bottom of the deck, we do have the Six of Swords in the reverse. And this also came through as well, the Two of Cups in the reverse. We've got the Ten of Cups up right. But there's a feeling of like, again, even if upstairs has the good intentions, you're not buying into it that easily still. You have a divine right to say no. And they have to honor that. After all, when they talk about their so-called, non-intervention laws, then you're not allowing them to intervene into your consciousness anymore. Until when you have differentiated and used heavy discernment to say, well, all right, I'll listen to what you have to say a little bit further. You got 5 minutes or you got 5 seconds. And if I don't feel that you've convinced me enough, or I don't feel that you really do have good intentions, then you can fuck right off. And with the King of Pentacles in the reverse, this to me represents a feeling of, ungroundedness here. Because everything of what's been going on, feels a bit ungrounded, and you're trying to stay grounded. You're trying to, stay balanced. Okay, so let's just finish off this reading. Let's close this out with the Inner Temple Oracle. Remember, guys, as I said, take what resonates here, right? If this aligns with your feeling, with your mind right now, and where you see how things are, what you've come to the conclusion to, and if it feels like this is for you, then fine, that's great. If not, guys, don't worry. If you are still somebody who feels that, no, upstairs, there are galactic brothers and sisters and they're here to help and this and that other, despite the fact of no contact, or, they're saying, oh, well, it's a school, you have to learn, through these life lessons and stuff. Well, the information that we have been receiving about people who have faced so much evility through certain rituals and sacrifices, etc., especially in the form of little newly formed lives, and what they've been subjected to. How the fuck does this feel like this is a school and this is about learning stuff, in comparison to what we've been learning about with certain people? Does that really feel like this is a school, or it feels like it's a prison, or it feels like this is absolute hell. You're just not buying into it that easily. So let's go with the top card. We have got the Holiest Temple. You're literally filtering out all kinds of energies that just don't feel right. You are honoring your own inner sacredness, your own, like creating your own sacred space, treating your consciousness and your body like a temple. Whether it's clean eating, clean, filtered out information. You don't want to have toxic food, even though literally everything around here, food-wise, drink-wise, it's all shit anyway. It's all toxic. But you're trying to eat clean. You're trying to live clean. And whatever kind of information, whether it's in the form of a book, TV, program or whatever the hell it is, you want to have the information filtered out as much as possible. Or you just go within and just finding your own way out of your own darkness. And the next card that we have got is Plenty. So this feeling of like, I want to live in abundance. I don't want to have an abundance of stress. I want to have an abundance of discernment and fulfillment and a feeling of self-sustaining. I want to have an abundance of feeling sovereign, not feeling entrapped or influenced by somebody who they say they're a way shower, but really they're a fucking gatekeeper. The next card that we've got is Inner Summer. Again, there's this feeling of, and again, I'm really getting this, the Schumann resonance that's really awakening, livening people up, activating your own inner consciousness, your own, way of detecting bullshit. And there's this feeling of between July and, tomorrow is June? Today's the last day of May. Between now and even August through into September, October, there's going to be a hell of a lot more changes, a lot more exposures coming in, but you are also being exposed to your own memories, your own resonance back into your own remembrance. You're starting to see people more as the masks are falling off. You're starting to see people for who they really are. And it's creating this sort of butterfly effect as well. The next card that we have got is Chamber of Innocence. And this to me represents what I was just saying with regards to, the healing that you would have been doing. You wanted, especially if you've been healing your inner child, you've gone through a lot of stuff yourself that really wasn't your own, but you've been made and programmed or coerced or manipulated to believe that it was. Not again. Okay, you're protecting your innocence and you have every right to be. You have every right to do that. The next card that we've got is Hold On. So to me, this represents a feeling of holding on to your own, your own wits, your own way of thinking. Hold on to your discernment. Don't let nobody try to take your discernment away from you through manipulation or this kind of nice energy or trust me, I'm a doctor, or trust me, I work for the government. No, that's the first, as soon as you hear those words, red flag. And then underneath the bottom of the deck, we have got Chamber of Inspiration. And I do feel as well that if you're going to be in this energy, it feels as if your light is going to be shining through to even inspire others to kind of think for themselves too, which is really, really great. Like attracts like, and the energies and the frequencies that you're pushing out there, if anyone's going to be hitting that frequency match and aligning with that, it's like banding together to create this sort of resistance against manipulated consciousness, which is really, really great to see. So guys, this is what I've got. So no, it's a bit of a heavy, reading, but sorry, this has to be said. It really, really has to. And you just keep on using your discernment as always. Don't allow anybody, to try to trick you with their nice, charming ways or clean appearance. Be careful who you follow. definitely, that goes without saying. All right, guys. So again, thanks so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys in the next reading.